it was you have two lives, and your second one starts when you realize you only have one. So I really wanted to set some goals and push myself. So one of the goals that I chose to set was to do stand-up comedy, which I kind of always wanted to do.
It's the ritual.
Oh, that feels brilliant.
Here we go.
Feel it on my cheeks.
Sauna sessions with Shea, and in the studio, in the sauna today, we have Aaron Applefield, or better known as Apples. Apples. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
With Shea.
It's brilliant.
Did you expect to be in a sauna this afternoon after your long, hard, arduous day at work?
Well, you mentioned about saunas, but I didn't expect to have it actually in the sauna. That we'd have the sauna and then have the podcast. But this is epic. I think this is great.
It's all about being in the sauna. Like I've done a bit of research online. There's some sauna podcasts out there.
Is there?
But I don't know if anyone's in the sauna. So I thought, okay, let's find a way to get a camera inside a sauna. Let's get the heat on. And the original thing was to actually go until we just can't go no more because we're dehydrated. But we won't spend that amount of time in the sauna for this sesh. But mate, look, I just thought to tell everyone too, the reason I wanted to get you on the podcast is because I find that you're a person that gives people a lot of value, fills their buckets, has got positive energy, is a good person, and there's something that's a bit different to a lot of other people in Australia. And obviously your background is from California.
Yep.
Mate, why do you think that is? Where does that come from? Where does your value and your energy and your positivity come from?
Oh, I think it's like everyone. It's through your life experiences that you have, and whether you choose to grow through the tough times and enjoy those happy times, and how you handle the obstacles in life. I mean, I've had an interesting life, and I've traveled the world, and the things that I look at now, where I am now, is where I am now because of the past experiences that I've had. Pinpoint one thing about it would be nearly impossible.
Yep.
I mean, it could be something as simple as a teacher that instilled values into me, or a coach, or the fact of being from a military family with 3 boys when my dad was leaving the service, after I was born, and mom was a nurse, and, both of those being service-based mentalities. I'm not entirely sure I could put it down to one thing, but...
Well, there's... So just to add some context to everyone, you came over to Australia from California.
Yep.
How old were you when you did that?
I came here straight from university. I would have been 21, 22 years old. Just finished university playing baseball, and wasn't good enough to sign a major league contract. And to be honest, I didn't want to wear a suit and tie and go work for dad, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And an opportunity came up to come play ball in Australia, and I went, always wanted to keep playing baseball and stuff it. And that's one of those decisions that didn't know where it was going to take me. I figured it would be one season and then back, and I've only been back for visiting family and for periods of visits.
How many years ago was that now?
Half my life now.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, which is quite a funny story.
So you've set up camp. You love Australia. And
I love
this
it here.
Is now home. Yep.
It is home. Funny, I think I told this story when we were on the bus down in Victoria. Part of the comedy routine that I did just for shits and giggles, to push myself, I did mention that I had some blood drawn one time, and then the lady who was drawing my blood was from another country, I don't know where, and she was asking about my history and where I came from, and I said how long I'd been here, half my life, and she said, she mentioned it in her native tongue, and I said, what does that mean? She goes, well, you're a phantom, you're a ghost, you're an apparition. I went, what? And she said, well, you don't really fit in anywhere because you grew up somewhere else with different values and cultural ideas, and now you live somewhere else where you've been here half your life. So if you go back to where you were born, you don't quite have the same views, and because you weren't born here, you weren't raised with those views, and so you're an enigma. You don't really fit in anywhere. And I thought, here you are drawing my soul and my blood at the same time. It was quite an interesting experience.
Well, mate, I wanted to talk to you about the baseball, but you just touched on the comedy. Tell me what it like. You had to throw your balls out on the table to do that. How did you get the confidence up to do that, and what was all that all about? Like, was that a midlife bloody crisis, or
possibly
what was going through your head to jump up on stage and do a comedy routine?
So about 2 years ago, I had a little health incident that occurred, and I remember laying in the hospital bed and thinking to myself, an old Confucius quote that I heard. I think it was Confucius. I never quite remember if it was exactly, but it was, you have 2 lives, and your second one starts when you realize you only have one. So I really wanted to set some goals and push myself. So one of the goals that I chose to set was to do stand-up comedy, which I kind of always wanted to do, and I've done plenty of public speaking and plenty of talking in front of people, but I've never stood up and done a comedy night. So I thought, I'll take a punt, and I threw my hat in the ring, and they sent me an email back right away that said, look, post-COVID, we've had a lot of interest. At the end of the day, don't expect a response anytime soon. We've got a lot of spots. And so I wrote them back and said, the reason I'm doing it is because I'm trying to push myself. And next thing I know, I got an email 2 days later that said, we got a spot for you in 2 weeks. And I went, oh my God, here we go. So it became very real, very fast.
Because there's been a few moments in my life where I was shitting my dacks, right? But I knew that I had to do it. Right. What was your thought before you just walked out on stage? Before you actually how big was the crowd? Was it a big crowd?
It was probably about 50 people. It wasn't massive.
Yeah.
But still, I've spoken in front of more people than that, but just never.
Yeah. But you got to be funny. You're on. There's.
Well, you hope you're funny.
Yeah. And how did the crowd take it?
Look, much better than I thought. Quite a funny part of it was that after I did my routine, and I did get a couple laughs, and it was probably the fastest 5 minutes of my life. Like when they flashed the pen light at you, I went, oh, wow, it's over. But I got laughs, and I walked off stage, and in the intermission when another comedian was coming up, a young lady came up to me before she did her show. She was obviously a seasoned comedian. She said, oh, is that really your first time? You did a really good job.
Yeah, good.
And I was really flattered. I was honored, and I sat there in the moment feeling really powerful and empowered, and then she went on stage and about 3 other people, and she was terrible. Got no laughs. And I thought, oh, geez, if that's the bar, maybe I wasn't very good. But at the end, I did go and thank the host, and had a couple other comedians come up and say, you should probably try and do the stand-up thing a little bit more frequently. Would you like to join this comedy school? And I went, I don't know. And it was really just a bucket list thing. But now,
okay, so it was a once and once only?
Well, now I want to be heckled.
Okay, right.
Now I've got this need because I didn't have anybody come to the crowd. People are now asking me, can we come? And I kind of want to be heckled so I can throw some back at them.
Have you got some fire to throw back at people?
Well, being a ball player, that's what we do. So if we're not playing baseball, while we're playing baseball, we're talking smack. So if they think cricketers talk a lot of smack, you should hear what we do on the baseball field.
Okay, so a bit of context, you're the catcher when it comes to baseball. So
I'm the catcher.
You've got one-liners coming out your butt when it comes to putting off, how do you put off the batter?
Oh, there's lots of ways. I mean, you can talk to them just passively and try and get their attention away from what they should be doing. If you know them well, you can ask them about, for instance, this weekend we had a guy in his 4th at bat, he'd already gotten 3 hits off of us, and I'd played with him years ago when we were playing top grade together. And so I was telling him, I said, man, I just can't get you out. I'm sitting here. The last time I'm trying to think of what to call, and it doesn't matter what I call, you barrel it, mate. You're unbelievable. So I'm actually feeding him a little bit. And I said, so I've given up. What do you want me to throw you? Just tell me what you want. And he kind of giggled, and then we threw him a splitty outside, and he took it. And strike one, and we ended up striking him out that at bat. And
there
it was
you
just
go.
Because
he got in his head.
Well, some guys you want to feed them that confidence, you're that good, and other guys you want to talk trash to, and other guys, it's always different. You can flick a little dirt on their shoe, or
so it's little subtle things.
It's mind games.
When Jordan used to play with people with his fingers, even when they were guarding him, just these little subtle things are actually can be probably more. In your head,
game within the game.
Yeah. If it's so in your face, then it's too obvious. But to me, sometimes that little flick of dust, as you said, because baseballers have rituals, don't they?
Oh, rituals and routines.
Yeah,
absolutely. I was talking to my son about that the other day.
So, do you have rituals and routines?
Most definitely.
Yeah. What are yours?
Well, I've visual things that I do that make me focus on things I need to work on, but I also have a routine that I go through before every single game. So I have a stretching routine that I go through. I have certain music that I listen to. And before every game, I will sit down and I'll spend 3 minutes just focusing my breath, doing my breath work. I've got some tapping things that I do. I've got some points on me that I tap, and I've got a few keywords that I use with mantra words, whatever.
So. Can I tell everyone about the flight down and one of your rituals on the plane?
Absolutely. Fully transparent here. You can ask me anything.
So I'm 6'4" for the people that don't. Well, there's video of this as well. But
and I'm a hobbit.
I was sitting beside Apples on a plane, and I don't fit on a plane. I've never fit on a plane. It's like my knees are actually in the next aisle, and the lady can use my knees as bloody elbow.
That's why I took the middle seat.
Yeah. Well, but I noticed when you took off, you had a baseball card with your son on it. Is that right? Yes. And a Zippo lighter.
Yeah.
And so you had these two things. You closed your eyes and you were kind of rubbing the card or the Zippo.
I was holding the card.
Yep.
And I was rubbing the Zippo lighter.
Okay, so what's that all about?
Look, the card is basically baseball has taken me all over the world, and for me to have the opportunity to share that with my son and his love for the game as well, that's just a connection, and it's something for me that while I'm praying, it's about what I would like to see in the future and the opportunities, and it's like that's a connection. So someday to have my son have all those experiences and me to be able to witness them would be really cool.
Okay.
So that's one of them, and I'm always reflecting on the rest of my family. But the lighter, my dad flew 2 tours of Vietnam.
Yeah, wow.
As a pilot of F4 Phantoms. He was a Top Gun instructor in California. So I figured if it got him through 2 tours of Vietnam, taking off aircraft carriers and surviving, then it's a pretty safe, good.
Are you also a bad flyer? Like, does it help you? I didn't
used to be, but I am now.
Okay, so it takes the focus away. Because I know on the flight home, there was a couple of turbulent moments, and I'm like, oh shit.
That didn't faze me, did it?
Yeah, I know. I have a feeling you're out cold, or you had your hat down, and I'm like far out, like, because I can feel everything, and turbulence is. I'm not.
It's just takeoff and landings for me, man.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's just while we're in the air, we can hit turbulence. I'm okay.
So hang on. So your dad was a Top Gun pilot.
Yeah.
And what was your granddad? Was your granddad?
My grandfather, his father was a bombardier.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was in the family.
I don't know past that. We don't. Yeah. We've never really delved too much back into our family history. I know little snippets and parts, but yes, I do know that he was. He was in the air as well.
So at any stage, did you want to follow Dad's footsteps and become a Top Gun pilot?
100%. My eyes
was
weren't good
Maverick
enough.
Like, was Top Gun out this? It would have been out of this stage. Like,
so
it would have been the coolest job in the world.
There is some funny. Well, he had left the military at that stage, but it was quite funny to have a dad who had done that sort of thing. With Top Gun, there was a guy who had a cameo appearance in that. So when Kelly McGillis goes into the bar and she sits down next to the elderly gentleman, the older gentleman, I shouldn't say elderly, at the booth, he was actually lieutenant commander at Miramar at the time. So he had got a cameo appearance.
Wow.
But my dad, it was neat because we'd go to things like fireworks or whatnot, and he'd say, I dropped more ordnance than that in 5 minutes. Or we'd go on a roller coaster and he'd kind of stuff it for us. I pulled more G's than that. But yeah, it was an interesting upbringing, and for me, you learn a lot of structure and discipline and a lot of respect for people who put themselves out there and give service. It's
kind of like a builder watching a building show. It's like, that's just not how it happens, right?
He did mention that a lot. That's not realistic.
Yeah.
He came here when Maverick came out, the second one, and I did say that my kids would really love to sit on the couch and watch the original Top Gun with a Top Gun guy, and then go to the movies and see the Maverick one.
Yeah,
and I did specifically say to him, "Could you please not ruin it for them like you did for me when I was growing up? Just let them enjoy the movie."
Well, see, the second one, we went and saw that at the movies too, and I wanted to go see it again.
It's impressive.
To me, it's the soundtrack. All the old 80s music's back.
Yep.
And even the little the gongs and to start the movie, it's like, oh shit, we're back in Tom Cruise 1980 Top Gun.
Yeah, and the references back to the old car.
Yeah. It's all brilliant. So it's like
Goose's son playing the piano.
Yeah. So it was actually a really well done script, but to me, a big part of it's music, and it's like what's in the background. But when you hear a Danger Zone and all that Kenny Loggins music, it's like I don't know how many hits Kenny Loggins has got, but to bring that back into a film in 2023 or whatever it was, 22, it sent shivers down my spine that, oh shit, it's back, and it's good to see a film that reminded us of a childhood. But Top Gun, when we were how old were you when Top Gun came out?
Oh geez, I don't remember when it came out, but I had to have been an early teenager because I remember wanting to wear the short white shirt.
So did your dad become cooler once Top
Depends
Gun
on who you ask.
Yeah.
I mean, as the son, I'm not sure I ever looked at him and thought he was cool. It's like most kids with their parents.
Yeah. It's like, I think, most parents talk about that. It's like they never looked at me, like actors or big time actors, like they just think I'm a stinky old dad.
Well, the sole reason I went back to play baseball last year was just because my son would look at me all the time and what do you know? What are you talking about? I'll show you. But look, it was very cool to have a dad that you could look at and say, wow, he did that.
Yeah.
And to answer your question about if I ever considered going to the military, I really wanted to. And to be honest, it was play baseball. Funny, I can hit a baseball that's thrown at me at 90 miles an hour, but my eyes weren't good enough to fly a plane.
Okay.
So that was kind of thing. College baseball, going to the military.
Were you colorblind?
No, not colorblind. Just my eyes. I started wearing glasses. Towards my college career, and then after college.
Yeah.
Still wear them now.
I couldn't do Top Gun because I'm red-green colourblind, so that's my excuse. Yeah.
The pilots can't be six. What did you say? You're 6'2"?
Yeah,
6'4"?
Yeah, I would have been Goose 2 for sure.
Just in a chopper, man.
I just would have hit the roof before I could even eject it, so I would have been knocked out before. That would have been a tragic ending to my Top Gun.
It's true what you said about music and how it influences us. I actually downloaded that track. I thought it was fantastic. So the whole album, I downloaded that onto my Apple Tunes.
I remember being at next door neighbours, like in his bedroom, listening to the soundtrack on cassette, and we just kept playing it. Like, it was brilliant. The whole soundtrack to the original Top Gun, brilliant. And like all those films, like you got Footloose in the 80s. There was a crazy time where the music was just so simple yet so effective. Back to the Future, you got Huey Lewis and the News, that sort of stuff.
A lot of music nowadays doesn't tell a story like it did then.
It exactly. Yeah, I can tell you where I was when I heard Power of Love and Marty McFly was on his skateboard holding onto the back of Jeeps and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like when I heard that, hair stood up in the back of my neck. I thought that's a perfect song for that scene, and just how good is that film? Yeah, so the music does do things to you that it could be unconscious sometimes, and it's just this subliminal thing, but you can walk into that film and the music was actually what drove you to love the story. Yeah. And without it, it just would have been, flatlining. Yeah,
well, you're seeing that younger generation that you mentioned too. That's now connecting back with older music. I mean, isn't Paul McCartney coming soon to Brisbane?
Yeah, I think he's here. I saw something.
Younger people that are going and seeing that as well now. It's awesome. For sure. And Elton John, Elton John was just here, and the crowd. I was lucky enough to go and see, and the crowd there was very diverse.
You've seen Elton John live in concert?
Yeah, just at Suncorp.
When did you see him? When he was out with Billy Joel?
Just recently.
Okay. Yeah, I saw him when he came out with Billy Joel. And that was just stupid how good, like just the talent of both guys. Like to have two superstars on the one night was just dumb.
Where did they have that show?
That was a QE2 stadium, so that's not Suncorp.
It's down at Mount Gravatt.
Yeah,
that's massive.
Yeah, so don't know what that stadium's called, but QE2 it used to be called. Yeah, but obviously it's a stadium arena for two big guns. So yeah, and it was sold out. Like but have you got any regrets of musicians you never saw that have now passed away that you'd love to see?
Oh yeah, there'd have to be a few. I mean,
I've got Michael Jackson's one.
Yes, never saw Michael Jackson.
James Brown was the other, and he actually there's a hoodoo at River Stage. So he came out and played and then died a couple of months later. So I missed him, and he'd gone back to America, then passed away 2-3 months later. Prodigy came out and played at River Stage, I'm pretty sure, and then the lead singer died a couple of months later. So there's something with the River Stage, and and big names coming out, playing, going home, and passing away. So, yeah.
I think Johnny Cash would be the one that comes to mind.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Like seeing Johnny Cash live would have been an experience.
Yeah. And so you big into your music?
Funny, I really, really was, and then kind of lost sight of it. And just when that happened 2 years ago, someone introduced me back into the love for music again, and how I can use that to get myself either to enhance a feeling that I've got, or maybe to change where my headspace is at. So the power of music is, I have certain songs I listen to help sleep, help focus. I've got several different playlists on my phone, from gym stuff to baseball. We love taking batting practice, with music playing, and there's something about the certain type of music that you have when you take live batting practice.
Oh, for sure.
Which is always kind of fun.
I think in the gym, you can get an extra rep or two in by a song that just juices you to go a little bit harder.
Absolutely.
So now I think we've talked about this before, but you've got a song in baseball that you come out to. So like boxing.
Yeah. So players have walk-up songs.
Yeah.
And we implemented that. I actually implemented that my first year back at the club for the rookie ball team that my son was playing on, just as a bit of a joke. So it was just a Bluetooth speaker, and we asked the kids what song they wanted, and we just, as they're walking up, we'd hit it. And it's funny, it's now caught on to other clubs and stuff. But yeah, in the big leagues, everyone has a walk-up song. In college, you usually have a walk-up song.
That would get me super focused, though, I reckon. So like if it's like, like if I heard something very drum and bassy, then I would be like locked in. It's like, okay. Or even, bloody Highway to the Danger Zone or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like when I've got that bat in my hand, I'm freaking lethal. and I'm going to hit this out of the bloody park. You know?
Trevor Hoffman, one of the relievers of the Potters, used to walk into Hell's Bells, and the stadium would go dark, and then they'd play Hell's Bells, and he'd come walking in, and it was unbelievable. You get goosebumps.
Yeah. So
one of the signs that I know I'm doing a good job as a dad was when my son chose his walk-up song this year, and I was like, that's cool, because it tells a lot about the individual when you listen to what the kids choose.
So what did he choose?
He chose Little Green Bag.
Green Bag?
So Little Green Bag's the theme song, the walk-up song from Reservoir Dogs. So they're walking out, Mr. Pink, they're walking out in their suits. And 13 years old in 2023, and he chose Little Green Bag.
Jesus, he's watched Reservoir Dogs, obviously.
Oh, no, I won't let him watch it. It just was in my playlist, and when he was listening to it, he goes, that'd be a great walk-up song. And I went, oh, I'm doing something right.
One day he's going to surprise you and say, hey, that's something Mr. Pink or Mr. White would do. He goes, oh, hey, what are you talking about? He's like, no, you're too young to watch it. He's like, and he would have watched it or something. He sounds like one of those kids that he'll get to an age, it's like, this is my walk-up song. I've got to watch the bloody film.
He's already asked to watch it, and I said, not just yet. Yeah, not just yet.
It's a Tarantino. There's a bit of gore in there, isn't it? It's
pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
But a classic.
It is a classic. Yeah. So,
my walk-up song is Rage Against the Machine, Killing in the Name of.
When that first came out, we used to sit in our car there'd be 3 or 4 guys, we'd maybe having a beer, just parked, and we would crank that song and then just headbang, and the car would be moving, right? And if you actually, see this parked car and it's moving, you think, oh, maybe this is going there with a girl. But no, there's
wagons rocking, don't come knocking.
Yeah, there's 5 guys, and then it's like, hang on, what's going on in here? And they're just headbanging to Killing in the Name of, and that whole album was
brilliant.
Just next level. So yeah,
absolutely.
I've just got my producer saying, just throw another little ladle of water on.
Yeah, good stuff.
She's good, this producer. She keeps me on my toes. How you going heat-wise, mate?
Brilliant. No problems at all. I steam or sauna 6 days a week.
6 days a week, so this is second nature to you.
Brilliant. More so than the ice bath.
Yeah, okay. Well, for people, the context as well, Apples is... what do you say? You're my huckleberry or something?
I'm your huckleberry.
You're my huckleberry. I'm your huckleberry.
I'm your huckleberry.
So when now the ice bath to start the podcast is optional. You don't have to do it. But Apples is like, and what do you got going on?
It's on the menu. I'm taking advantage.
I
got some metal pins in the thumb, and when we did it in Kingscliff.
I saw the grimace on your face, and it was like a metal grimace. Like it was like something was going on that wasn't. But what, have you got screws or something?
Yeah, I got some pins in my thumb and some bolts in the jaw from sports injuries. But jaw doesn't go all the way into the water. But when we did it in Kingscliff, I was so focused on my breathing, I didn't realize I had my hands in the water. And where the pain was coming from, and the dumbass that I am, all I had to do was lift my hand out of the water.
Yeah, right.
It would have helped. But it was like a freezing cold but burning sensation under your skin. It was a really bizarre feeling.
Yeah, right. Well, this one you just nailed. You did
Hands out.
2-3 minutes really quickly. And so, did you notice when you overcame the first shock of it that it became easier and you breathed, and then you started talking to me and you distracted yourself?
Yep.
What was that feeling like?
Look, I think it's like anything in life that whenever you first come into something that's uncomfortable, you just need that time to be able to find your comfortability. And it was about 30 seconds, and the breathing was helping, but I found that if I was communicating with you and taking the distraction off of it while I was focusing on my breathing, then I wasn't just focusing on breathing in cold.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the connection that we were about to come in and do this as well.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. It's nice to know that there's a hot sauna on the other side of the ice bath.
100%.
Yeah. It gets me thinking, though, and I've thought this a couple of times, what's on the other side of something that you've, because obviously with an ice bath, the first 30 seconds is the hardest.
Yep.
And then your body starts to relax and say, oh, okay, we're not dying. This is, we can deal with this. How many other things in life we don't give a crack or have a go at because that first 30 seconds it's hard, and then on the other side of that 30 seconds, is gravy. And I don't know. I think everyone's probably got something in life that they didn't quite give 110% for, or because it got hard, and they gave up on that 25-second mark. When if they got to 30 on the other side, it's like, okay, I've got this. And then the mindset changes.
100%.
Yeah. So
I find that was an issue for me. And then once you get that mindset right and you move past that, now mine seriously has become the opposite, which is learning. And we talked about this in the hot seat when we were down in Victoria.
Yeah.
My issue is knowing when to let things go.
Yeah, okay.
Especially when they're things that I think I can work through and power through. But it's knowing, okay, am I willing to go through that right now, or can I put that down and think about, do I need to pick that up again later? Is that something that's really on the focus and on the goals right now? So it used to be more that the discomfort. I think that for me, in the last 3 to 5 years, I've learned much more about how to find joy in the process.
Okay.
And when you start finding joy in the process, the goal and the outcome kind of take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And that's where the issue typically comes for me, is towards the later end now, more so than the beginning, because I've fallen in love with that, setting the goals, going through the process, the course corrections. That all has become fun.
Enjoying the journey.
Yeah, 100%. And that's something that I wish I had learned earlier.
Yeah. Well, Apples and I have been on a week trip down to Melbourne. We got to know everyone a lot better.
Yeah.
I felt I grew a lot from the experience. Now, you're down there as the mindset coach, is that right?
Yeah.
So what did you want all these builders, firstly, do you find that intimidating? Because you've got all these burly builders that are all good with their hands. They're all macho men, but they're not, are they? They're all, when you actually peel back the layers, they're all...
We're all human beings.
Human beings. They're vulnerable, and if anything, this group of builders that came down, they were willing to just let it all out on the line, and it was kind of cool to see. Did your expectations, like with what you wanted to achieve down there, did they all match up to what happened, or did it blow your mind out of the water?
I think I was blown away, but I think that it's also a testament to the environment that was created that allowed that to happen.
Correct, yeah.
And I think that it's those people that are going on something like that who are on a journey, and so they're willing to open themselves up for growth.
Yep.
And just like going to the gym or anything, it's difficult. You have to go through one of the Stoic principles, the obstacle is the way. So if you're afraid to look into the abyss, you should look into the abyss.
Yeah.
And then that's where you grow. I mean, with the hot seats, when there was an extra hot seat, I put my hand up as the mindset coach to go, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I remember the look on the director's face is like, really? And I was like, yeah. And I got so much out of that myself. For me, it was to show that even as a mindset coach, I need to be vulnerable. I've got stuff that I'm working on like everyone else.
Did that, because obviously now that's 3 or 4 weeks later, did you activate what the group said, or like what's happened there? I won't go into what was being. We won't share divulge, but
no, that's okay. It was around the concept of letting things go, and there was 2 issues that I was dealing with individuals that I was having a hard time letting go. The idealistic image of what I thought that I should be getting from that relationship, and I wasn't, and it was unfair because I don't think that individuals were ever going to be able to provide that.
Yeah, okay.
So I was very humbling for me to listen to people talk about, well, you need to forgive that, not necessarily them, because they've done nothing wrong, they're just being themselves, but you need to forgive yourself for having those views and holding on to those. So I've definitely actioned those. I wrote a couple of lists. I walked away from that and went straight to the park when the bus stopped. I sat in the sun and I did some yoga and I reflected on that and really, really owned it. And it was a powerful moment.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think there's definitely something about voicing what's in your head. Your head, you can the wheels can spin, and you can be on loop with the same story.
I'm an overthinker.
Yeah. Well, and then something like that, just to voice, because as you said, it wasn't like you didn't have to get up and say anything, but we literally got to the end of it. And it's like you put your hand up and said, I'll get up and, let's see if we can work through some stuff.
Yep.
And did you feel lighter and better for the experience?
Yeah, so much. And the interesting thing was I had more than one of the people that were joining us who are builders said, look, I've had a similar situation with that sort of individual in my life as well.
Yep.
And this is how I handled it, or now I'm going to look at that a little bit differently. So it's amazing when you make yourself vulnerable and you put yourself out there, how other people resonate.
Yeah. I think also just watching a few of them become vulnerable gives other builders permission to do the same.
Yeah.
And then you quickly realise that you're all in this together, and it's a safe zone and everyone's there to support one another, which is great to see. And that, and then just like I'm on the out, like in some ways the exterior filming out to in, but I felt quite.
I got you on camera.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Even the bloody horses, you're always getting me on the horse.
I'm a bit of a larrikin.
What did you get me to say there? Something
My
about
Little Pony.
My Little Pony. Yeah, it's like I don't know what's Apple's up to here.
That was gold.
But even with the horse experience, you found out something about yourself during that.
Yeah.
What, can you
I'm always
explain?
searching to get better.
Yeah.
I mean,
So what
my
was that
Zoom
about?
call I'm about to talk about is the Kaizen approach to mindset and life, which is small incremental continuous growth moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so with the horse
one?
what's the horse thing? So you had to get the horse to go backwards. You getting your hands going, and the horse didn't want to bloody budge.
No, so I had this connection with these horses like I didn't expect to have. And even the host who was running was like, wow. And it was really empowering and it was great. But then when we went to go to do this one aspect, which was to get the horse to move backwards, my message was getting lost because of my intensity. And it's very interesting because the lady who was hosting this experience, Helen said, do you feel like you've ever been told, or do you feel like your message gets lost because of your passion or your intensity? And I went, yes. Because you just need to slow your heart rate down and your breathing down like you were with the horse before. And right now it thinks you're anxious. And as soon as I slowed that down and I breathed through it and I did the action slower, the horse started to move backwards. And that was a real defining moment because although people have told me that before, I'd never been able to visually see that.
So can you get a little quick with your thoughts? Is that like, do they race? Is that what was meant by that? Or
I think that because of my upbringing and the position that I play in sport, I'm a contingency planner. So I'm one of these people that I deal with anxiety and I deal with situations that I don't know that are coming by setting up millions of contingency plans very quickly in the back of my mind. And in baseball, it's like, if we call this pitch and this happens, then I'm going to do this next. And if he hits it there, we're going to do this. And if that next hitter comes up and we've got men in first and second, we're going to do this. And so you're constantly playing out in your mind.
You've got, do you think you've got ADHD in some respects? Or?
Oh, look, I know I'm on the spectrum somewhere. I have no idea. I think we all are. But I also am a big believer that you can learn to use it as a superpower. So, for instance, me, as I said, I've learned to use that as something that helps me to cope with anxiety. So I use that planning instead of it making me feel worried. I use it like, okay, well, if I've planned through all these things, then I'm good. And if something comes as an anomaly, I'm going to learn from that, and then that's now on my contingency plans moving forward.
I'm just picturing you behind the base, and the catcher flicking a little bit of soil on the mound,
manipulating.
But you're also watching first, second, and third. You're
100%.
seeing what the outfield's doing. You know what your pitcher's doing. You know if your pitcher's annoyed at you for the last pitch because you didn't accept it or something like so. Is there 20 different things going on in your head behind the batter?
Many more than that.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm also chirping to the umpire and building a rapport and relationship with him.
So you've learnt to deal with all that, but as you said, after a while, look, do you find you're actually a bit clunky when you first start, but then you get into a zone where you just know which way the wind's blowing, you know that there's a cloud coming over, you know this guy can hit you out of the park. Are you become so aware of what's going on around you, like at a certain time, or you just click in straight away?
I think the trick is to know when to narrow that focus down. So when to have a broad view, so you can take on all that information, and when you need to narrow it down. So if I was to take a broad view approach while I'm in the batter's box and the guy's about to throw a fastball at me, I'm done. There's no chance. In that situation, I need to process all the information once I step in the box. I then need to zero in on what my goal is to do then. So I think it's adapting to the scenario and the situation that you're in.
And that's kind of just, you got to fail many times and you learn from the experience, and then you start to develop a process.
Best hitters in baseball fail 7 out of 10 times. If you can't cope with failure, don't play baseball, don't play golf. Those are two sports that frustrate the living hell out of you.
Apples, I want to speak to you so much more, but dinner's on the table. It's getting cold.
That went so fast.
We went from ice bath saunas, we went to Top Gun, we did horse whispering, we did bus trips. We've come full circle.
How good.
Apples, I think I could actually, if time permits and humidity permits, we could have spent 3 hours in here, because you are literally a beast when it comes to sauna. You do it 6 days a week. So when you do it, you spend about 45 minutes in a sauna?
I alternate usually between the sauna and the steam room. I prefer the steam room because of the moisture. But we have a cold dumping shower, not like an ice bath. So I'll alternate. I'll go sauna, dumping bath, steam. Go between
because you're not even breaking a sweat right now. So obviously you're a trained pro at this. Well, the ritual to end the sauna sessions with Shea is you've got to do a ceremonial ladling of the water onto the rocks.
Love it.
And that's to say,
and we're out.
We'll add the sound effects later, but Apples, thanks for coming on. And,
it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Sauna. Mate, you've been absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Let's go have dinner.
Brilliant. I'm hungry. Good stuff.